Assalamu alaikum viewers, I am Farrukh Nadeem. This is our 10th tutorial, and in it we will discuss some tools related to 2D drawing, specifically those that are useful for modification. Today we don't have any particular exercise, but we will, God willing, discuss the modification commands. What viewers, you are almost all familiar with these tools. You have already used them. Here we have the vector texture tool. This is a very simple tool, a rectangle of 2 feet by 2 feet. And inside that rectangle I will use the vector texture tool. As soon as you select this object and open this dialog, which is for creating vector textures, you will see that first there is the angle, then the line spacing, after that the wave parameters, and then the noise indicator. Here there is an option regarding the layer. Place the vector on layer and preview. As soon as I click on preview, you will see that it has created waves from the lines. Right? Now all the features to increase or decrease their basic geometry are available. For example, here you can see the angle. The angle is currently set to 0 degrees. If I change this angle to 30 degrees and you look at the preview, you will see a difference in the angle. That is, the lines that were going straight are now rotated to 30 degrees. Like if I set it back to 0 degrees and check the preview, you will see it returns to 0 degrees. This is the line spacing. That is, the space on the upper side is adjusted. Currently, the spacing is 4 inches. If I set it to 6 inches and preview, you can see the gap between the lines has increased. If I set it to 2 inches, the gap has decreased. Similarly, here are the wave parameters. The value is currently 3. So if I set this value to 1, you can see the height of the wave has decreased. Now you can create whatever you want according to your requirements and design. Similarly, this is the wavelength. When we talk about wavelength, you can see that from here to here, this is actually the wavelength. If I set it to 3 and preview, this is what you get. Now, it is very clear that if you decrease the width from here to here, the height will not necessarily increase or decrease accordingly, but the shape will definitely change. If I set the height to 0.75, you will see a difference in the preview. If I set the height to 2, the shape on the upper side will become longer. If I leave the height as it is and set the width to 6, you will see the height remains the same, but the width increases. So in this way we can here you can create different textures as you like. Suppose you have created this texture here, and now I want to change this texture a little bit. So look, here you can increase the variation in it. See this. Okay, now we're seeing that the gap in the middle, but that is basically random. It increased or decreased the gap, but if I take back the ISCO variations, it will be creating it with equal gap. So as soon as I did it, you see this pattern is there. These lines are grouped, and this is a command that we didn't use before. So I'm adding and deleting it. Along with this, we have another command available here. You have already seen the icon group and ungroup here. Here you have these 3 commands which we have already discussed. But let me briefly explain them. I have placed these 2 objects one above the other in a rectangular shape. If you select both objects and use this first command, weld, it will remove the overlapping area. The area that is overlapping will be removed from it, and the outer layout will remain as it is. All the remaining intersections will be removed. In the same way, you have this command here. Before this, you saw the subtract command. Look, I selected one object, then the second one, and as soon as I use the subtract command, and the latter object will act as the trimming entity for the first one. I select this and make it the trimming source. When I use subtract, this part gets removed from it. In the same way, we have a third command here, which is the overlap command. Just like before, we have the overlap command here. Look at this. As soon as I apply overlap here, it preserves the area where both objects were overlapping or intersecting and removes the rest. Now watch, if I draw an overlap here, I select all three objects and apply overlapping here. So you can see it has preserved the object in this way. The rest are trim and so on. After that, we have these three commands here that we haven't discussed in detail before. For example, we've drawn these lines and now we want to fillet these lines. So as soon as I go to the fillet command, and if I click on its corner, it will flatten it. Now, how did it get flattened? As soon as I select flat, this happens. Here the value for flat is given. Now if you click on the flat again, the flat will be removed. How much flat do I want? I want a flat of 1. See, after setting the flat to 1, if you come to its corner and press it, it will apply a flat of 1. If you want to remove it, as soon as you go to the corner, it shows a cross sign along with the flat. This means you are removing the flat. Okay, we properly apply this command on a polygon. I'm drawing a 5-sided polygon here, bro. Take a look. Now I want to apply flats to this polygon, so I have selected the flat command. Watch this, this flat, and this flat. Here I enter the value 4, and then this flat and this flat. Now if you remove this flat and click again, it will set it to 4. If you remove it and click again, it will set it to 4. Remove it and click again, and it will apply the flat with the value of 4. So basically, this was a command to apply flats. Now I am going to create another object here. Take a look. Basically, we need to cut along these sides. And here we have to fit another piece in again. That is, we have to remove this piece from it and bring in another piece to fit on top of it. So try to understand this. For example, I will make this object a bit smaller so that another drawing can be placed on it. I have made it smaller, and using Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V, I have placed another object here. Now we have to insert these two objects into each other. We will cut this object from the inside and cut this one from the outside. We need to apply flats to both of them. Now why do we need to apply a flat here, and how do we do it? Look, earlier we used the normal flat in the dialog here. After that we have another option called the dog bone flat. What the dog bone flat does is that it slightly rounds out all the corners. Here I set it to 0.25, 0.25, and then I click here and I selected the corner. So now watch as I click here on it. In the same way, I will click here on this as well. Here it on a different side. Now, even here, the corner is standard. But on the other side, the line is extended outward. Here, its line is extended outward. So I will trim this first and then work on it. Look, I have zoomed in and trimmed it. Now, coming here, I flatten it. Well, now the benefit we will get from this is that when this pocket is cut, our tool will also pass through here. This object that we have to insert inside ISKI. Now I am creating 2 layers here. This is a very technical thing that you will understand. I am showing you a fitting here first. Just understand this. I have created 1 layer. Move to layer 1 and move it to layer, sample layer. I did this move. You can also change the colors from here. I changed the color of this sample layer, and now I am moving this object. After moving it, I have placed it on top. Now pay attention, this part is very important. Even now our radius is still small, okay? And if I hadn't set the radius here, then when we do the cutting inside these pieces, when we cut the lower part of the job, let me remove it here. Sorry, turn it off and look here. Whatever tool we use here, the tool was creating a bulge. So we gave it this diameter. so that the tool can deepen it from here. And when the fitting is done, the corner can automatically fit into it. All right, so I'll turn this off for a moment. Let's make its program. As soon as I make its program, since I need to create its pocket, make this pocket, and slide this object with a 0.25 cutter for a single pass on it. With the help of something, I will use a 0.5 deep what? I will use a 0.5 cutter, and I will cut it here. In the same way, you can preview how, when it was cut, its corners were made a bit deeper. Now coming back here, I'll take another job like this one with the same specifications to cut it as well. Now you can see the difference in front of you. These corners have moved outward, and this corner has become rounded at the same spot, and then because the radius of the tool's diameter will be applied here. Now you can't fix any such part inside it. Why? When you try to fix a part here, either you'll have to make a corner on that part in the same way, or fitting it simply won't be possible. Because the part you want to fix inside will also need to have this rounded edge here. Otherwise you can't fix it in. On the other hand, with this object, when we apply this fillet or rounding on it, the upper corner will easily insert into it. Actually, the need here is that when we insert a part into this end, it should be able to go in easily, and the corners shouldn't cause any obstruction anywhere. I'm showing you the same thing here. See, the part will fit here easily. That's why this rounding is done, and I hope you've understood this point. Let's move forward now. We were learning about the dog bone fillet command, and similarly there is the T-bone fillet as well. Now the T-bone fillet also plays a similar role here. When we make this part for insertion, when we make this part to be inserted inside during machining, the inside will be formed, but when it is machined from the outside, the corner here will also be rounded. So managing the roundness here becomes difficult. Basically, the T-bone is a type of this. Look, I did this and I did this. Like here, since our part was meant for the inside, like we won't apply this thing here, but that thing So now, when this part goes here, its curves will be able to fit into it easily. So basically, you can apply this anywhere you want, and you can also apply it here so that the cutter can pass through from this side. It depends on the situation you have wherever you are working. So viewers, here I am showing you again that you can use any of its features. Look at this. We just need to work from this side. On the side where you want to apply the fillet, your click will only be on that side. Look at this. So basically there are two T-bones in this mag, which are T-bone fillets that we use here. One is a T-bone and the other is a duck bone. Similarly, moving forward in the fillet, we have the drag knife for plasma. This is basically used when, as you see in plasma, the cutting is done with a flame. So it is passed slightly from above so that its corner can be made sharp. So I'll apply it here. Watch this. This one, meaning in this, when the plasma cutting comes from here, it will pass through here, go over the top and come back, and this will give a sharp corner. See, if it cuts straight through here, you'll get a rounded edge. So if you want a sharp edge, you'll need to use this fillet command on the outer side. You can also change this command. Yes, I'll remove it from here. See, that's what we If I set it to 0.125, then let's come to 0.125. When I set it to 0.125, look at this. Now the value you need to enter here is basically determined by your cutting tool. For plasma, see how wide the flame is, how much cutting gap it's giving. You should set the radius accordingly. So, okay. If you're doing it for wood, then what is the diameter of your tool? I set it according to that. Set it accordingly. If I set it to 5 here, first remove the previous one and then set it here. See, it goes to a very large level. So you have to make this adjustment yourself. So basically, this was the fillet feature we have, which we can remove or add. And in all three options we had, first the normal fillet, second the dog bone fillet, and third the T-bone. And the fourth one was for plasma. So viewers, moving forward, we have another command here, which is extend, right? Basically, this is used to extend an object by 2 lines or 2. He completes the answer by extending objects with each other by extending 2 lines together. So, watch as I use this command here. As soon as I selected the command, it grabbed these 2 edges and extended them. Now keep in mind that both edges should be in such a form that when extended, they can intersect each other. Here, I will add another line. Suppose I draw this line from here, and then I will use this command here. Extend will grab one end here and the other end there. Extend them, trim them together, and complete the job in front of you. So viewers, these are basically the commands that come under modification. In the same way, we have a very useful command here to curve fit. If I am drawing a line here, like this, I drew a line in a zigzag form, and with the curve fit command, see here, you can see that I can adjust it here using the curve fit command. In the preview, I set its tolerance to 2 inches. If I set it to 1 inch and preview it, this is what will be created. If I set it to 3 and preview it, this is what will be created. So it depends on what kind of radius you are giving it, and when setting the radius, keep in mind how large your working area is and what the gap is between one point of the line and the other. Now, it shouldn't be the case that there's a 1 inch gap between your 2 lines, but you're setting the tolerance here to 5 inches. You should do this. If the gap between one line and the other is 1 inch, then play around with 0.25. Set the tolerance to 0.25. In the same way, we have sharp corners. You can also keep the corners sharp up to a specific degree. So this was the command for fit curb to vector. Similarly, if we move a little further, here we have boundary create. This will create a new boundary for you above. Look, when I set the distance to 0.1 total, it creates a boundary around this object, leaving a distance of 0.1 around it. Please try to understand this command once again. Here, I have several different lines drawn. So I select these lines and go to create boundary. Yeah. As soon as I create a boundary here and set the distance value to 0, you will see that it draws a boundary around them. That is, it draws a boundary right along the straight line. Or if we have some objects, I select those objects, and as soon as I select them and choose create boundary, you'll see that it creates a boundary. Now, where exactly is that boundary? You try to understand this point. These were the objects that were here, and it created a boundary around them. Look, this is the boundary. Now, keeping these objects in mind, it created the boundary. So now we have a boundary as well. We've already studied this. We have the join command, and you've already learned about the join command. There are 3 more commands that we will discuss here. Look, here is one line, and along with it, I am creating another non-line. Now there are these 2 lines, and if you want to connect their ends together, see here, I selected the join command. What's the difference here? If you use the join command, select both objects and use the join command, it will connect the closest ends of both lines together with a 3rd line. Here I selected all 3 objects and used the join command. When I closed the join, I selected these 2 objects and connected them together here. Then I selected these 2 objects and joined them together, and then I selected these 2 and joined them as well. So one by one. If you keep selecting 2 objects at a time, it will keep joining them together. I'll undo this. In the same way, we have a 3rd command ahead. This one was joining them with a straight line. And when you connect this with the curve, see here, I have placed these 2 objects and it has connected them with the curve. Then I selected these two objects and connected them with the curve. Then I selected these two objects and connected them with the curve. So basically this was with a straight line. This was joined with the curve. So now we are looking at the third exercise. This won't add a third line, but rather it will pull two edges together and join them with each other. Watch this. This basically also works with your design. Keep that in mind. Look at this. Look at this. No, it has the benefit of not making you add a third line. On, I suppose I'm going to make a leaf here. This I made a leaf. This and so. I made this from a leaf here. I closed them. I did this by selecting both objects. First, he added one side, then added the other side. So, this command is like this. This addition will not add anything to it, but will add to it while remaining in it. So here are some commands from our mod. One command here is a very useful command that I would like to give you guys here. We'll watch that command very carefully. This is especially useful wording that you have to cut. Before this, most of our exercise was working on a job and extracting waste from it. The work we are going to do now will be basically a job, but the material inside it will be the job. But what we have to deliver to the customer is the material inside it. What is to be delivered is to save the material inside it, and we have to remove it completely in the least area, as you, if any, and the word has to be written down. It could be in English, Urdu, or Arabic. So how will you do that? I'll call an exercise here, trace it, and show you this feature applied to it. This is a 2 foot by 2 foot patch we have attached. I'll import a couple of files here. One, I imported this file. So as soon as you bring this file here, enlarge it a little. Enlarge it and take it into the bitmap editor here, and I improved its contrast and slightly adjusted the brightness. I then trace this object here. We have a tracing tool available. In fact, first, let's set it to 2 colors, and I want to trace this particular color. To trace this color, I preview it and apply it, and as you can see, the color has been traced. If I delete this bitmap, now the object has been created here in group form. You can see there are separations present. If you want to improve it further, you can do so. When I ungroup it, you can see this object is separate, this one is separate, this one is separate, and this object is also separate. And these objects are essentially coming out from within it. So in this way, we now have these objects as separate individual objects. Now, if you want to extract this object from the sheet, you need to use the nesting feature. As soon as I go to nesting here, this sheet will be used, and the tool, you will have to specify that you want to extract it here using the 1.25 tool, and between one job and another, you are also keeping the clearance at 1 to 5. The border gap is set at 0.25 feet, and what is this? We will discuss these things later. During nesting, we are given various features for the rotated part, that is for a good fit. Up to what maximum rotation can you use it? I set it to 45 degrees. We do not allow mirrored parts, and we also do not allow separate inside intervals on some code. Now, here is the sheet option. What will be the nest form? It will start from here. And go to this side along with X or along with Y, meaning whether it should complete it in the X direction first or in the Y direction. So I told it to complete it along the X direction. Did you apply it in the same way and check the preview? As soon as you look at its preview here, it has adjusted all the words to one side of your sheet. So now I set it to along with Y and preview it. Just wait, watch. Look at this. Basically, you are being given a feature that allows you to save material. I must say, because normally what I've seen is that people adjust this manually. And when you do it manually, there's always some error, some gap, or something left out. It is CH turned. So when you need to do the cutting at Dindati at the time, you can automatically set the program to cut it from the outside as well. If I take this for cutting, then as I said, the tool for passes is already set at 0.25. You correctly, and I set the passes to 2. I click OK. And I set the cutting to the outside because I need the inside piece. There will also be cutting on the outside. Go ahead and calculate this. We are going to select the object, select it, and then calculate it. As soon as you calculate it, reset the preview and preview it. Then look at this, click on it. Now this option here, the outer one, I double clicked and removed it. So this is the waste. See, by removing these areas, I can show you what is actually going to be created. In the same way, all these small parts will be removed from here. So here we have this exercise available. You discarded the outer material as waste and saved the inner parts. Let me go back from here. If it comes in broken form, then this is an exercise we just saw on nesting. So basically we discussed some commands related to modification. I hope these commands will also be added to your professional techniques. Our next lecture, God willing, will be on 3D. Please prepare yourself for 3D and make sure to study its environment before listening to the lecture. We will meet in the next lecture with 3D. Those who have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. Friends, now share this with others and add your other friends as well. Thank you very much.